Here's the short answer. Separation does not heal a marriage. That's it. End of video. Honestly, I have a lot of couples who come to me and they have already decided that the way to heal their marriage or the solution to all their problems is to separate. Now, as a marriage and relationship coach, I will rarely recommend separation. And I'm going to give you a handful of reasons why not. But if you stay to the end, if it is something that you've decided to do, I'm going to give you a couple of parameters to put in place to make sure that actually the separation works for you as opposed to against you. Before I go any further, if you have been loving the content so far, hit the subscribe button. I'd love to put out content every single week around marriage, relationships, and affair recovery. So many couples who are in the midst of a storm and they feel like they've been in that storm for a while and don't know how to get out of it will often come to me and say, listen, the choice we're making is to separate. And that choice is because they think that separation is the solution. They're saying to me, we want things to be better. We want to heal our marriage. We want to deepen our connection. And the only thing that we think will work is separation. Now, I will never agree with that. Obviously, I'm only their coach. I can only advise them. But there are a few reasons why I know that separation doesn't work for many couples. I do want you to stay to the end though, because I will give you parameters for if you do make the choice to separate, how to actually make it a positive experience rather than all this negativity that I'm about to give you now. But the truth is the truth. We can't separate to make something better. And there's a few reasons why I believe that to be the truth. Now, if you are already in a situation where the communication is broken down, maybe there's no trust, maybe you really feel this widening emotional gap between you, maybe the atmosphere is really tense all the time, there's lots of arguing and conflict, separation won't work for you for a number of reasons. Number one, you're not healing the marriage. You're not healing or dealing with the issues. You're running away from them. You're ignoring them. When you separate, the issues are still there waiting for you, waiting for the day that you return. You will not actually be dealing with the issue. You're brushing them under the carpet or ignoring them or running away from them. And so separation doesn't make it better. It just puts it on pause or prolongs it. Maybe that's what you want for a little bit of a pause, but we'll talk more about that in a moment. Number two, if your communication is already on rocky ground, guess what separation is going to do? It's going to finish off your communication, right? It doesn't create more communication. It actually breaks it down even further. And a relationship without communication has no hope of ever healing, right? And again, if you're already emotionally disconnected, separation is just going to widen that gap. Think of it like this: distance creates more distance when it comes to marriage. You may be holding on to the motto, absence makes the heart grow fonder. But let me tell you, that only works when the heart is already feeling lots of love and passion and connection with the other heart. But when that's not around, absence just makes the heart grow cold, right? It makes the heart get used to not having the other person there. It breeds more disconnection, which is absolutely not what we want. So you can see why it's never something that I'm going to recommend to a couple. However, as I said, there are some parameters here. I can understand people saying, hey, the atmosphere in the house and the emotions are so high that we just need a moment to breathe, to think, to let the emotions calm down. Now, I would like you to do that in the same house, but if that's not possible and actually you're putting each other at risk, absolutely take a few days away. And when I say a few, I mean a few. And so in that situation, we're not talking about separation. We're talking about a very short respite, right? But otherwise, separation does not heal a marriage. Now, I know there's some of you who will say, well, I know such and such a person separated for a season and they got back together and their marriage thrived after that. And maybe that's you. But let me tell you typically what those people did within the separation that allowed them to have a better experience from it. Number one, it was short. So we're not talking months and months on end here. We're talking maybe a few days, maybe a couple of weeks. On top of it being short, there was a clear deadline. Like, this comes to an end on this date. It wasn't open-ended. It wasn't, when we feel better, maybe we'll come back together. No, there was a clear end date. Number two, they used that time of separation wisely. They did use it to calm their emotions, but also they used it as an opportunity to reflect on where maybe they've been going wrong, reflect on their perception, reflect on their partner and where there's misunderstanding. They used it to reflect. They thought about their areas of growth where they could improve. They used it as a time to grow, not a time to just say, "Whoa, I'm out of here," right? It was an intentional time to figure out how to make things better. And the other thing that they did was keep communicating. They did not allow this separation to break down their communication even further, but they said, hey, let's keep this communication going. In fact, let's build on it whilst we're in separate spaces, whilst we've got a time to really calm the emotions down. And so when you go about this separation in that way, it's short, there's a deadline, we keep communicating and we're using it as a time to reflect and grow. When you come back to the marriage, yes, the issues will still be there, but hopefully you're now better equipped to actually deal with them, right? So unless you're going to go about your separation in that way, believe me, it is not going to heal your marriage. It is not going to deal with the issues. It's not going to draw you closer to each other. Absence isn't going to make the heart fonder. It's just going to be prolonging the issues that you need to face and deal with. And actually, that is what I would prefer you to do. Face them and deal with them. And if you're really struggling with doing that, get the help. That's what people like me are here for. You can actually hit the link in my description and get a 30-minute free breakthrough call where we can talk through the issues you're having and how we can bring radical transformation to your marriage. Listen, if this is something you've been through, I'd love to hear your experience. Use the comment section to tell me, have you actually been through a period of separation? Are you considering going through a period of separation? And how is that all working out for you? It's Daisy Chorko, your marriage and relationship coach, and I'll see you in the next video.